Welcome to another Tech Help video brought to you by AccessLearningZone.com. I'm your instructor, Richard Rost. Today we're going to learn how to resize images inside of Microsoft Access. I'm going to show you two different methods. One, using FFmpeg, which is a third-party image and video utility. It's free. And a second method using the built-in Windows Paint, which isn't the best way, but if you don't want to use any third-party software, it'll work. Today's question comes from Maya in Eagan, Minnesota, one of my silver members. Maya says, how can I resize large high-resolution JPEG files for my photographers to a more manageable size, like 500 pixels across, so I can easily link them in my Microsoft Access database? Yeah, I used to deal with this problem a lot. You get high-resolution photos, some of them 20, 30, 40 megs, right? And they're gigantic, and you put them into a report, and it just takes forever for the report to generate. And most of the time, like I used to use images in my database just to put product photos on my website. And you don't need those, huge photos on a website. So what we're going to do is we're going to take whatever image you get and scale it down so it's nice and small. Right? You don't need something that's 5,000 pixels across. Just bring it down to 500. And we can do this right inside of Microsoft Access. Now, Access by itself does not have the built-in tools to manipulate image files. Neither does Word, Excel, PowerPoint, or any of the other Office applications. You could do something in Word, like you can load an image and then resize it and then save the document, but you can't resave that picture. You can't export the picture out of it. So the best way to do it is to use a third-party utility. Now, normally when it comes to Access development, I try to stay away from third-party utilities unless it's something that you absolutely cannot do with Access, and this falls into that category because Access is powerless to do it. While doing my research for this video, I found some other programs. There they are right there on the screen. I have not used any one of these, but if you are a user of these different utilities, go right ahead. You'll have to look up the command line parameters to see how to do it, but that's beyond what I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you how to use FFmpeg. Now, this is a video editing application that's been around for years. In fact, I used to use this extensively for video editing and splicing, and it's free and it's open source. I'll put a link to it down below where you can get your copy. It's very easy. You don't even have to install anything. You just get an exe file, and we're going to call that from Access, and that's it. Back in the early 2000s, when I started my my tutorial business, I used to record with a different software than I use today, and it recorded and created AVI files, and so I used FFmpeg to convert those over into MP4 files. But the nice thing about FFmpeg is it also works with images. You can use it to convert from one image type to another, or to do things like resizing, cropping, scaling, all kinds of different stuff. Today, I'm just going to show you how to resize an image, but you dig into the documentation, you'll find there's tons of different things you can do with it. And yes, I know for some of you, you are in a workplace where they don't allow any third-party software whatsoever, so I'm going to show you a second technique. It's not as reliable, but we're going to use Windows Paint and SendKeys. Yes, we can open up Paint to open up your image, and then with SendKeys, we can send the right key combination to resize it and save it. It's cheesy, but it works. All right, so first up, some prerequisites. If you have not yet watched my images video, make sure you go watch this. And if you have watched it, you know that we do not store images inside of our Microsoft Access database. No. Bad, bad, bad. You do not do that. It makes your database file big and bloated, and no, that's just bad. Don't. What we do, though, is we save the file name to where that image is, and then we can display it with the image control. And that's what I show you how to do in this video. So go watch this first. In fact, I'm going to use the database that I built in this video to show you this stuff today. And of course, we're going to use a bunch of VBA programming today. If you've never done any VBA programming, go watch this video. It's about 20 minutes long, and it will teach you everything you need to know to get started. And we're going to use a little bit of error handling in case we run into an error while we run the FFmpeg software. So go watch this video on error handling and some basic debugging tips. These are all free videos. They're on my website. They're on my YouTube channel. Go watch them and come on back. Alrighty, I'm going to start off by grabbing a copy of the database that I built in the images video. And since I'm a gold member on my own website, I can do this. It'd be pretty weird if I wasn't, right? All right, so we've got the images database. We've got an images folder underneath the database. And in here, open it up. Come on, there we go. We got our customer form, and here's the path and file name for this handsome devil's profile picture. There's another one there. Okay. Now, if we take a look at the images, let's see here, open up. These ones are already pretty reasonably sized at 500 by 531. Let's say we want to just scale these down to maybe 300 pixels across. All right, you get the point. So how do we do that? Well, we go get a copy of MPEG. It's at FFmpeg.org. Go there. You'll see a download button here. Now, the only thing you can download directly from their site is this download source code. That means you get to download it and compile it and do all that stuff. But there's packages. People have already put it together for you in Linux, Windows, Apple. But just come down here. There's 2 different sites you can go to get the exe files. The same thing. Pick either one of them. I'll put links to these down below, by the way. You can just go click on those. All right, here's this guy's site. Just come on down, and you're going to find, where is it? Right down here under Release Builds. Just get the Essentials one. Right, there's the FFmpeg Release Essentials. Okay. All right, once you get that guy, right-click and extract it. All right, and in here you'll find the only file that you need is, where is it? Go into the binaries bin, and this guy right there, ffmpeg.exe. That's the only file you need. Like I said, there's nothing to install. This is like a classic DOS level utility. It's really nice. I'm just going to take this and drop it in my images folder. Okay, so we got ffmpeg.exe in my images folder. And now we can go back to our database. I'm going to come in here, right-click, design view. Let's just copy this guy. This was in the extended cut, by the way. I showed you how to browse for a photo instead of having to type the whole thing in. So another reason to become a member. All right, resize. And let's right-click. Actually, let's give it a name first. I always forget this step. All this resize button. Right-click, build event. That'll open up my code builder. All right, start off with some variables. We're gonna need source file as a string, destination file as a string, the new width as a long, and FFmpeg to put its location as a string. All right, so we're going to start off with source file equals, what is the URL over here? What's the name of this guy? That's profile picture. We're just going to copy that. All right, so that's profile picture. And destination file is going to be, let's do profile picture and a 2 at the end of it. So it'll be whatever .jpeg 2. I know it's not a valid name, but when we're done, we're going to rename it back to the source file, right? Because we don't want to change it. Or you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, let's make this non-destructive. Let's keep it as it is. All right? So we'll leave the original alone. In fact, let's just do this, .2.jpg, like this. Right? Yeah, so the end of the file will be, my picture .2.jpg. Yeah, you could go through the proper renaming of it and all that, but this is easy code for class. All right, now FFmpeg is going to be equal to the full path of the executable, which in my case is going to be this with ffmpeg.exe on the end of it. So it's going to be that. Okay. And let's set our new width equals 300. And I spelled new width wrong. W-I-D-T-H. Okay. Now, we need some error handling. On error resume next for this guy, because we're going to kill the destination file if it already exists. All right? If this .2.jpg is already there, delete it. Now, for the next thing, I want to know if there's an error message. So we're going to say on error, go to error, my error handler. All right, and that'll be down here at the end. And I'm going to message box error and whatever that error was, error description. And then we're going to resume, do exit. Always resume out of an error block like this, right? Do exit. And this will simply be exit sub right there. So if there is an error with the next code here, it's going to jump down here, tell you what the error is, resume, and then exit out. If there is no error, it's going to finish and exit out here. Okay, that's how I do that. Okay, now, next up comes shelling out to run FFmpeg. Now, the FFmpeg command line is going to look like this. Right, if you were just typing this at the command prompt, you're going to type in FFmpeg. That is the name of the program, right? .exe is assumed. You don't need that. All right. /I means that's the input, and there's the file name, input.jpg. Okay. Next up is this command, which is VF, which stands for video filter graph. It's basically just saying you're going to be, I can't talk today. It's basically saying you're going to be manipulating the input video or image, right, with a filter graph. What's filter graph? Well, it just means you're resizing, cropping, rotating, whatever. Okay. And this is what you're actually doing. You're setting the scale to however many pixels wide, and then :-1 means keep the aspect ratio. So, you know, if it's 4:3, it'll be 600 by whatever that number turns out to be, right? Little math says 450, right? If it's 1028 by 768, it's going to keep that aspect ratio. You can change this if you want to. You'll skew it. You can make it like 600 by 200, but then it'll get stretched. Okay? Then this here, QV, specifies the quality. This is a number from 1 to 31, with 1 being the best. Okay? So if you have JPEGs, for example, you can set that to a higher number, like 10, 15, 30, but it will make the image, the file size smaller, but the image will get grainier. So keep it at 1 if you want to keep all the quality of the original video, which usually you do. All right, and then finally, you get your output.jpg. That's the output file. Now, what we have to do is take this and translate this into a proper command that we can use to shell out. And this is what that looks like right there. I'm not typing it in again, folks. I already typed it in once today. All right, it's shell, the basic shell command to run another program. All right, here's the call right here to FFmpeg.exe, whatever we have up here in our variable, right? And the reason why I have this inside of quotes is because if you got a space anywhere in there, like desk space top, you need to have that. I don't, so I don't need it, but it's good to have there in case this changes in the future. All right, there's the /I. Here's the source file, the VF, scale, new width, right? :-1, the QV, all that stuff. Destination file goes here, and VB normal focus so we can see it. You can change this if you want so that it's hidden. You don't have to see this window pop up. Me personally, I like it. If you want to learn more about the shell function and how it works, I do have a old tip video on my website. I'll probably re-record this in the near future, but this one works and it shows you how it works and all that working stuff. All right, so at this point, we should have a file called whatever.to.jpg that's on in our hard drive, in our folder. And so what we're going to do is we're going to set the profile picture now equal to the destination file. So we're going to say profile picture equals destination file, and then me.refresh. We'll let the user know, message box, done. Or you can use my status box or whatever you want to use. And then, yeah, then we're good. Then it'll exit out and everything's fine. And if it didn't work, it'll exit out with an error. So let's save it and see if it works. All right, let's give her a quick debug compile. Everything looks good. Let's come back out here, open her up. Ready? Hit the resize button. All right, done. And I noticed FFmpeg ran on my other screen because this is not my primary monitor, but it did run. It just flashes real quick and then goes away. But I like to see the window just in case there's an error message inside of FFmpeg. You'll see it instead of Access just going, I don't know what's going on. But let's take a look at what it did. First of all, notice here. Notice our picture disappeared. I'm going to explain why in a minute. But come back out here and notice there's your .to.jpg, right? And notice that it's 300 pixels across. Now, it did rename it. It did put the file in there. And watch this. If you leave and come back to it, look at it. It's there. We just have to refresh this manually. That's all. I'll show you how to do that in a second. Same thing with this one. You ready? Hit it. Click. Done. All right, check this. There's that guy, 300 pixels across again. Perfect. All right, and again, leave it and come back to it. All right, now this is an issue. A standard me.refresh doesn't repaint this guy, and you don't want to requery the whole form because it'll reload all the records. And so what do? Well, there's a trick. If you want to get this picture to reload, just make the control invisible and then visible again, and it will show. I know, it's a cheesy trick, but that's what you got to do. So come back over here, and we'll do it like after the message box. I'll say profile picture image, that's the control that has the picture in it, .visible equals false. I'll do the same thing again right after that, equals true. Whoops. Right? True. That's a little hack, and it works. All right, ready? Let's do it again. Let's change this back to the original. Okay, let's change this. We'll get rid of you. Delete. All right, ready? Resizer. Hit OK, and then their picture comes back. I know. When you make something invisible again, it forces access to redraw it on the screen. Repaint doesn't work. Requery works, but it requeries all the records and puts you back to the beginning. You know what I haven't tried is a record set .requery. Let's see if that works. Let's try that. I haven't tried that one. Let's do a me.recordset.requery. That requeries the records underneath, but leaves you on the current record wherever you're at. Let's see here. Doing a little experimentation today, folks. I didn't think of this until just now, so maybe this might be easier. Ready, go, and done. Oh, wait, that worked too. Oh, there we go. Okay, good. Don't have to use my cheesy little visible, not visible thing anymore. You can use a record set.requery. I got another separate video on that too. I'll put a link to it down below. Basically, me.requery, it reloads all of the records in this form, in this case, all 6 customers, but it puts you back at the beginning. It requeries it and puts you at the top. Record set.requery, it requeries the underlying records, but it leaves the cursor where it is, and then in this case on record 2. So that's handy as well. So that appears to work here. So either one of those methods will work fine. You can either redraw the picture by making it invisible again, blah, 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 or do a record set requery. Okay, well, now I need another cup of coffee. Okay, and I promise those of you who are locked in IT nightmare hell where you can't do any changes to your computer or install any third-party applications, or your corporate virus scanner is going to catch FFmpeg and they're going to get fired. You can send them to me. I'll tell them where to go. Yes, you can do this with Windows Paint. It's not a very elegant solution. It uses SendKeys. Let me show you how that works as well. All right, let's get rid of this stuff in here. Let's make these guys go back to their originals. You and you. Okay. Let's delete them out of here. All right. Essentially, every copy of Windows comes with Paint. I have heard some rumblings, though, that they're going to be getting rid of Paint in future versions of Windows. Who knows if that's true? But what we're going to do is you're going to essentially open up your picture in Paint, which it can handle JPEGs and all that, right? Let's pretend this is your picture. And then once the application's open, we're going to send it some keys. Okay? We're going to use my sleep seconds function that I have another video on. I'll put a link to that down below as well. And I also have videos on SendKeys. I'll put links to that as well. But essentially, we're going to send it Control W, which opens up the resize and skew. Okay. Then we have to tab 3 times. So tab, tab, tab to pixels. Press the space bar to push that. Tab again. Set the width 300. And then press enter. All right, that resizes it. Hit Control S. That'll save it. Now, this is a destructive save. So it's going to save, because it'll have a file name. We're getting the save dialog now because this is a new image and it doesn't have a file name. Okay? But when you send it to this, it's going to have a file name. So this will be a destructive save. It's going to save over the original. Okay? So if you want to, in your VB code, copy the original, make a backup file of it first, perhaps. Okay? And then when that's all done, we're going to send Alt F4 to quit. And you won't get this because your image will just have been saved. All right, see how that works? All right, what's the code look like? Design view. Let's make this resize FFmpeg. And we'll make another one. And, whoops. Get over it. Resize with Paint. Resize Paint button. Right click, build event. Okie dokie. Get rid of these spaces. Put them on the bottom. Just moves I like to move the code up a little bit. I don't like it sitting around the bottom of the window. Okay, we need a few same things. We're going to use some of this stuff. Let me copy this, paste it down here. We need source file destination, new width, and we don't need FFmpeg because we're going to be using Paint, which is part of Windows, so it'll be in the path of the computer. All right, source file destination file, we don't need you. Control Y. Same thing here. We're going to kill the destination file if it exists. Same thing here. We're going to on error go to an error handler. And we're going to use the same error handling stuff right here. Copy, paste. Okay. Oops. Damn, darn notifications. All right, so we're going to file copy our source file to the destination file. That way we don't lose our original. Okay, remember I said before it's going to be destructive? Okay, now we're going to shell paint. That's going to look like that. Shell mspaint.exe. It should be in your path for your Windows system, so it shouldn't matter where it is with the file name and the path and all that stuff. We're going to open the destination file. All right, VB normal focus again so we can see it. All right, now we're going to wait. You got to give it at least 2 seconds to wait. On a slower computer, you might have to wait a little longer. All right, sleep sec 2. All right, wait at least 2 seconds. Now, what is sleep sec? Do I even have sleep sec? I don't think I have sleep sec on this machine. Hang on, let me see. I know I got some stuff. You know what? This is an older database. This isn't the newest Tech Help free template. It's an old version from a couple of years ago. I have a global module in the new one that's got some basic functions like sleep in it. So let me go grab a copy of that real quick. This is the new version 1.93. This is the older version 1.6. So we're just going to find that global module and copy it right into there. And come on. There it is. Global module. All right. Ignore module 1. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. All right. Anyways, the global module has a function in it called sleep sec, which is sleep a number of seconds. Okay, and this is it. And I got a whole separate video on that too. I'll put a link down below if you want to learn more about that guy. So anyways, back into here. All right, so we're going to open up Paint. We're going to wait at least 2 seconds for it to load. Then we're going to send keys. Control W. Control is this guy, and make sure you use a lowercase w. Because if not, you're sending Control Shift W, which is in the same thing. Okay, and that's Control W, and that's Resize. That's the Resize dialog. Now we're going to wait again. Now we don't need to wait a complete second, so we're just going to call sleep and make it 300 milliseconds. So that's like a third of a second. Just a little tiny delay between key presses. If you send the key presses one after another immediately, they tend to sometimes clog up like a traffic jam. So I like to put a little, third of a second or even a half second delay. Depends on the speed of your computer, of course, but this works fine for me. All right. It's going to be more of the same, so I'm just going to paste it in here for my other database. I already ran through this once. All right, we're going to send keys tab, 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 and then a space to tab over to pixels, like I showed you, and then select it by pressing the space bar. We're going to wait. We're going to hit tab again to the horizontal width. All right, wait again. Send keys the new width, which is 300. Press enter. Control S to save it. Alt F4 to quit, and then beep, we're done. All right, or message box done. Okay, and that's it. Ready? Save it, debug, compile. Everything looks kosher. Come back out here, shut it down, open it up. Let's check our folder. Okay. Oh, we didn't set the hoo-hoo dilly. Hang on, forgot one more thing. Go back into here. When we're done, we need to set the profile picture equals dest file. And then do that thing again where we me.record_set.requery. So it reloads and refreshes. Okay, now we're ready. Resize with Paint and go. There it is. You can see this one working. And there, done. Okay, and it reloads. That was kind of cool, right? I like this. This one's kind of neat because you can actually watch it work with the send keys. All right, let's do the next one. This guy. Ready, go. Load it up. There's my send keys. Save it. Done. Back into Access. Perfect. So there you go. If you like this stuff, if you like learning VBA with me, if you enjoy my teaching style, if you think I'm a funny and crazy and whatever guy, I don't know. I got tons of developer lessons available on my website. Check them out. I think I'm up to 44 now. I'll teach you pretty much everything there is to know about Microsoft Access, and if I don't have a video on it already, I'm probably going to make one pretty soon. So let me know if you have any questions or things that you want to see how to do in Access that I don't already have a video for. If you do a Google search about something Access related and you don't see one of my videos there, I want to know so I can make one. So I fill that gap of knowledge. But that's it. That's going to be your Tech Help video for today. I hope you learned something, my friends. Live long and prosper. I'll see you next time. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up and post any comments you may have below. I do try to read and answer all of them as soon as I can. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, which is completely free. Click the bell icon and select all to receive notifications when new videos are posted. Want to learn more? Click the Show More link below the video to find additional resources and links. YouTube does a pretty good job of hiding it. It's right down there. See this part of the description here, right? The name, the video's up here. There's a little Show More down there, right down the bottom. It's kind of hard to find. But once you click on that, you'll see a list of other videos, additional information related to the current topic, free lessons, and lots more. And YouTube no longer sends out email notifications when new videos are posted like they used to do. But if you'd like to get an email every time I post a new video, click on the link to join my mailing list. And you can pick how frequently to get emails from me, either as they happen, daily, weekly, or monthly. Now, if you'd like to become a paid member of my channel and receive all kinds of awesome perks, click on the Join button. You'll see a list of all the different membership levels that are available, each with its own special perks, including my extended cut videos, access to my code vault, lots of VBA source code in there, template downloads, and lots more. I'll talk more about these perks at the end of the video. Even if you don't want to commit to becoming a paid member and you'd like to help support my work, please feel free to click on the tip jar link. Your patronage is greatly appreciated and will help keep these free videos coming. I got some puppies to feed. But don't worry, no matter what, these free tech help videos are going to keep coming. As long as you keep watching them, I'll keep making more, and they'll always be free. Now, if you really want to learn Access and you haven't tried my free Access Level 1 course, check it out now. It covers all the basics of Microsoft Access, including building forms, queries, reports, and more. It's over 4 hours long. You can find it on my website or on my YouTube channel. I'll put a link down below you can click on. And did I mention it's completely free? The whole thing, free, 4 hours. Go watch it. And okay, a lot of you have told me that you don't have time to sit through a 4-hour course. So I do now have a quicker Microsoft Access for Beginners video that covers all the basics faster in about 30 minutes. And no, I didn't just put the video on fast forward. But I'll put a link to this down below as well. Now, if you like level 1, level 2 is just $1. That's it, $1. And that's another whole 90-minute course. Level 2 is also free for paid members of any level, including supporters. So if you're a member, go watch level 2. It's free. Okay, want to get your question answered in a video just like this one? Visit my tech help page and send me your question there. Members get priority, of course. While I do try to read and respond to all of the comments posted below in the comments section, I only have time to go through them briefly a couple of times a month, and sometimes I get thousands of them. So send me your question here on the tech help page, and you'll have a better chance of getting it answered. And while you're on my website, be sure to stop by my Access forum. We've got lots of lively conversations about Microsoft Access and other topics. I have a fantastic group of moderators who help me answer questions. Shout out to Alex, Kevin, Scott, Adam, John, Dan, Juan, and everybody else who helps out on the site. I appreciate everything you do. I couldn't do it without you. Be sure to follow my blog, find me on Twitter, and of course on YouTube. Yeah, I'm on Facebook too, but I don't like Facebook. Don't get me started. Now, let's talk more about those member perks if you do decide to join as a paid member. There are different levels: Silver, Gold, Platinum, and Diamond. Silver members and up get access to all of my extended cut tech help videos, one free beginner class every month, and some other perks. Gold members get all the previous perks, plus access to download the sample databases that I build in my tech help videos, plus access to my code vault where I keep tons of different functions that I use, the code that I build in most of the videos. You'll also get higher priority if you do submit any tech help questions. Now, answers are never guaranteed, but you do go higher in the list for me to read them. And if I like your question, you got a good chance of it being answered. You'll also get one free expert level class each month after you've finished the beginner series. Platinum members Get all the previous perks plus even higher priority for tech help questions. You get access to all of my full beginner level courses for every subject. And I cover lots of different subjects like Word, Excel, VBA, ASP, lots of different stuff, not just Access. These are the full-length courses found on my website. You get all the beginner ones. In addition, once you finish the expert classes, you get one free developer class per month. So lots of training. And finally, you can also become a Diamond sponsor. You'll have your name or your company name listed on a sponsors page that will be shown on each video as long as you're a sponsor. You'll get a shout out in the video and a link to your website or product in the text below the video and on my website. So that's it. Once again, my name is Richard Rost. Thank you for watching this video brought to you by AccessLearningZone.com. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something today. Live long and prosper, my friends. I'll see you again soon.